Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. West side, raise it up. 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 North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. The west side, raise it up. 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 Raise it up.
Hey loves, hey loves, hey loves, hey loves. My name is YN Vaughn, also known as Y, and this is another episode of Raise It Up Y, the podcast. You are hearing my voice the last Thursday of February 2022. I'm pretty sure. And this is an episode we are calling Let's Talk About Sex, Baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. That was some good echoes, be honest. Thank you. When Boomer gives me no reaction, I know I'm doing something completely right. So, ladies and gents, in this particular episode, we're going to have a Get Raised segment, a Raise 'em Up segment, as well as a High Y. Get Raised is going to come all the way at the end of the episode, like our other do-a-ditty segments usually are. So make sure that you tune in, even past the outro music, so you can get a really dope conversation from an exclusive, very first Patreon episode. This is with my great friend and lover, Mr. TJ Wilkins. We talk about where the ego has its place within love. He gives a masculine perspective and I give a feminine perspective as it pertains to our relationship. And we got pretty honest. So I do believe it is worthwhile content for you to consume and also learn from. I wanted to put that out there in the beginning so that you know you have, if you are a love patron, an exclusive episode waiting for you. And when I say a love patron, I mean anybody who is subscribed to the Patreon page. All of you can consume that, whether you're general support or an actual love. So thank you so much if you are a patron, a love patron, and connecting with us over on that platform. If you are listening on any of the spaces where podcasts can be consumed, I want to say thank you for taking your non-refundable time and sharing it with us here at Raise It Up Y. If you are a love onlooker, not just a love listener, if you're a love onlooker on YouTube, hola, ¿cómo está usted? I hope you enjoyed the new look. The new look. Got the curls for the girls, you understand? Got my little red on because, you understand, it's the color of love. I'm also an Aries, so I'm supposed to look good in somebody's red, but we'll see. We're not sure. Boomer likes red, so he should tell me I look pretty good in this outfit. Damn, he ain't gonna say it. He actually just told me in sign language that I look like incredible. So Onette saw it, I saw it, so it really happened so long as we say it did. Ladies and gents, if this is your first time connecting with us, then I just want to say welcome to our local world. Here at Raise It Up. Here at Raise It Up Y, we like to raise up your self-awareness, your vibration, and your capacity for love, which is knowledge. We are where OGs kick game to real ones only, and we do that through non-corny positivity. That's kind of where we get our tagline, where we say rockets up on these hoes. It's a long story. I have a whole bunch of content about why we say it. We can go over it at another time and date. If it is something you all want to do, leave comments and we can do whatever you like. But 2022 is all about fine tuning. Last year was all about self-worth. The year before was all about self-awareness. So now that we're doing some fine tuning this year, we're going to be looking at the vibration of love and what that looks like this whole episode. It's interesting because if you aren't accustomed to experiencing love, there's two things that happen. One, you're not used to receiving love. Two, you're also not used to giving love. So it's a doubly challenging situation in the month where we look at Black culture as well as we look at love. You guys know I'm addicted to the love, so I'm pretty much always celebrating my heritage and my culture throughout all of these episodes. You guys go back and pick an episode, probably talking about something hip hop, something really dope that Black culture does. But Black History Month is this month still. So happy that to you. And that's not only to my Black patrons, that's to all of my patrons, patrons, my loves, not just my Black loves, all of my loves, because with the contributions that Black Americans make to pop culture at large, we have some real amazing vibrations that we enjoy because of the fact that a bunch of people before me sometimes gave their lives. They definitely gave their energy and all of their hard work to see a world where everyone could sit down, be with and around one another, and enjoy the content of character versus the color of skin, So that's my Black History Month spiel for the little time that it's still relevant in a few days that we still got left in this month. And the rest of this episode is definitely going to be dedicated to love, for the lovers, but really the vibration of love. I introduced that last episode. This episode, we're actually going to start fine tuning, starting with love, right? So, of course, every episode we look to ground one another. Well, me to you, really. If you are driving, I invite you to keep your eyes open. If anyone else under the sound of my voice has the ability and would like to, I invite you to close your eyes and take a moment to be here with me. Hear my voice. Feel your feet. Wiggle your toes. Touch on your nose. And these are all things you're doing just to confirm that you are in this moment here. I'd like you to breathe a breath in and blow a breath out. Do that again in through your nose, out through your mouth. And just take a moment to own this real life miracle we call life, that you are breathing and winning just by living this life. By spending this time with my voice right now, you're investing into your betterment. I think you should sit with that and feel proud. So ladies and gents, let's go up. Let's go TF up. I will remind you once again, stay tuned all the way to the end of the episode. You will get an excerpt from the Patreon exclusive content where I'm using it as a Get Raised with Us, where Get Raised segments are where I invite guests onto the show to not only raise all of you all and whoever is listening's vibrations, but as well as myself. TJ Wilkins, at I am TJ Wilkins on Instagram. definitely had an amazing talk with me as we spoke about where ego sits in effective romantic relationship building. So it's a really dope listen or watch if you're on YouTube, and I think you guys you'll really like it. I think you'll really like it. Raise Them Up is where on the podcast I get to give you all jewels that I've picked up on my life journey, adorn your crown in my own language. And answering the title of this episode, let's talk about sex. Oh, sex. She just wanna close her eyes and sway with you, with you, with you. All right? Let's talk about it if we're going to do it, all right? I want to talk about the inception of sex between two folks. And really, namely, I want to talk about the loss of virginity and how that looks for gentlemen differently than it maybe looks for ladies. I have loves from all different backgrounds. I respect and adore every one of you loves that fuck with me the long way, not the wrong way. Shouts out to White Dizzle in the podcast world and on in Love Culture, on Love Tuesdays, Love Lounge After Dark, and things like that. But I want you to know a lot of what I talk about on this podcast will come from my perspective, which is a Black woman, heterosexual from the West Coast with a big ass type of perspective. So please do not feel excluded. I can't tell anyone how to feel really, but I want you to know that I'm very aware when I speak that I'm speaking from Wyan's lived experience. All right. And I think that anytime any of us speak, we are speaking from our own lived experiences. So as much as you probably wouldn't tune in to Ellen DeGeneres to hear about a Black heterosexual relationship, I don't think it would be it wouldn't be the best idea in the world to tune in to Wyan Vaughn to listen out for a different perspective than one that I've lived. I kind of speak only what I've lived. So we're going to talk about virginities, how guys lose their virginities versus how young girls lose their virginities, and the implications for intimacy that it has on relationships. I was in the Love Lounge After Dark a few nights ago, and one of my good friends in this music industry and in personal life, but in the music industry, he's an amazing songwriter. He was saying, yeah, I might have to start hanging out with you because you're one of like my dope homegirls that I just want to pick the brain of. Like, I just need to hang around feminine energy that I'm not attracted to in trying to have sex with, because I need some help. All of my relationships start with sex. And I think the implication, he didn't say these words, but I think the implication was, and none of them last. So let's talk about how we start this thing. All right. Gentlemen, when they lose their virginities, tend to do so because it's recreational, experimentational, or a result of peer pressure. When gentlemen lose their virginities, it's either for sport, it's I want to see how it feels, let me just try, or it's, you know what, it's prom night, it's 12th grade, everybody's going to go to school tomorrow and talk about what we all said we would do tonight, which is quote unquote hit or quote unquote get laid, Their sexual relationship starts out very public and outward, just like their anatomy. I'm going to make some of those types of similarities as we go through this because I think it's important. Or maybe, I don't know if it's important. It's just noteworthy. It's noteworthy. Men's beginning to their relationships with sex are for outward display, much like their own anatomy. Okay. Remember that piece. Young ladies, girls, reasons they lose their virginities. This is all stuff that's researchable. So if you want to look if they've advanced the research, then I'd love to hear it, because this is research from when I was researching this, which was years and years ago. But doesn't change. Girls tend to lose their virginity because they are deepening their displays of affection. They want to show their partner, too, that they love each other, or that they love the gentleman. It's a second way. 3, they want to prove that they're in the relationship with you. So number 1, they want to deepen affection. 2, they want to display their love. Or 3, they want to prove that they want to be with you, the guy. And in that way, just like a gentleman, that's a form of peer pressure, because young girls, let's say in high school or in their young 20s or whenever they end up losing their virginity, the implication in that third reason for losing virginity for girls is, oh, you just playing games. You don't really even want to be with me. Man, come on. Like you saying you a V, you ain't even a virgin. But you ain't even really here for real. And so the girl at some point feels some form of pressure to really prove she's here. She wants to be with this guy, and therefore she gives her virginity away. But I want you to notice that much like their anatomy, women's reasons for losing their virginities are very intimate and inwardly important. They are very, they're very much extensions from within. And that's just like their anatomy, just like the womb of a woman, just like our anatomy is built. We have sex to try to show you on the outside what we're feeling on the inside. All right? Here's the thing about sex and intimacy, especially as people form their identities, because that's when a lot of this is taking place. Adolescence phase, if you're into Erik Erikson, this is the most researched and studied phase of the neo-Freudian human developers' conflict theory throughout life, which is identity versus role confusion. Identity versus role confusion. So once you start having sex, it's a part of your identity. The final episode of 2021, the one that we do, the 13th episode, the one that we do on New Year's Eve of every year, we talked about the role of others in another person's identity and how they choose to identify. Sometimes who you have sex with determines how you identify. I think the whole world has been seeing that for the last few years. All right. So sex and intimacy sex has a profound relationship on one's identity. So a man's identity is built largely on what I heard T.D. Jakes in one sermon talk about. The 3 P's of becoming a husband are providers, professors of love, and protectors of their loves. These are individuals that when they are looking to understand who they are in this society, men, they do so by how much money am I making? What am I doing to earn money? How do I provide for myself? That's 1. 2, do I profess? What do I profess? Before I say, do I profess my loves? Because that's usually later. Beyonce and them taught you that. Say my name, say my name. That's a woman saying, if no one is around you, say, baby, I love you. If you ain't running game, say my name. Profess your love for me. Say my name in whatever company you're around, because you know you acting shady, ain't calling me baby. Why the sudden change? You understand? So there's music that talks about these sorts of phenomena. But being able to outwardly call yourself something, identify yourself as something. You hear a man say, oh, I'm a rapper. You hear a man say, oh no, I'm a trapper. You hear a man say, I am a student. You hear a man say, oh, I earned a C on that paper. I earned an A on that paper. Why some men need to feel the need to lie when they go to talk about the extra relationships, the sexual relationships that they're keeping outside of their intimate partner relationship, and it's on some why you gotta lie to kick it. If you're a player, then nigga, say that. Call it out. Say I'm a player. Or say I'm fucking up and I keep fucking up and I'm acting like a fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is, identify yourself. So what a man professes out of his mouth is a huge identifier for anyone listening to what he's saying. So how a man earns his living or how he provides, what he professes himself to be. And a third thing on how identity is built in men is what they choose to protect. What they choose to protect. You start to get married with someone and the first thing they choose to protect is their money. That means a lot. I'm not saying that it's not important, because unfortunately the caliber of some ladies is to play niggas to get to, and I'm not saying that because all niggas are black. I'm just talking about niggas as in synonymous with people. That's just my vernacular. I apologize if it offends you. This is my podcast and this is how I talk. I apologize. But I'm not taking shit back. My words are my words. So when I say what men choose to protect tells you a lot about how they identify. If my money means a lot to me, I'm going to protect it. If my heart means a lot to me, I'm going to protect it. If my children mean a lot to me, I'm going to protect them. And that's where sometimes relationships can fall apart with co-parents, because a woman, let's say in a particular situation, had a man's kids in order to make him care for her. Problem is, you can't make a motherfucker do anything in this life, especially feel. You can't make somebody feel what they don't feel. That's the whole Bonnie Ray. And I can't make you love me if you don't. That's what she says, right? I can't make you love me. Boom, is that the words? And I can't make you love me if you don't. You can't make your heart feel something it won't. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. Women cannot have a man's child and think that just the mere process of having a man's child will make the man care about her. He will look to protect the child who didn't ask to be brought here. He will look to protect that which he identifies as, which is a father. You understand? So identifiers for men usually go around 3 P's that I heard TD Jakes talk about: provider, professor, and a protector. And with that partnership, it tends to get them ready for the world. And I'm going to tell you in a second how a man's woman helps him get ready for the world. Just a spoiler alert, if you want to learn any more about that, TJ has The Way of the Superior Man. I forgot the author's name, but he has that book down in his Audible as the Man Bible. So in that Man Bible, the author equates how you treat your woman and how your woman helps you grow as a way to know how ready for the world you are. Very outward expression. Again, much like a man's anatomy. Ladies, identity gets built around caretaking. Caretaking and understanding. For the ladies, identity gets centered or built around caretaking and being an understander, a communicator even. Because with communication comes understanding. The problem is it's always identified for how a woman cares for others or understands others, she doesn't get a lot of props in society for understanding or caretaking for herself. That's the scary part. Partners for a woman help them become ready for the universe within. With ladies, when we date, we generally date for a sense of stability and safety. That's the most perverted version of that is where ladies date men just for their money. Certain ladies will target men to attempt to become pregnant because with every child from a rich man, she knows that she's set up for a certain amount of years. So there are certain folks, not all ladies by any stretch of the imagination. However, there are certain women who've decided that that's the way they're going to get their coin. However, the kids do that saying these days. However, those are the relationships that we tend to form. And intimacy, I'll take this from Robert Sternberg, who has a triangle theory on love. And one of the corners of that love triangle is titled intimacy. Intimacy alone means that you like someone or you have a deep attraction to someone. So intimacy and sex, how attracted and how much do you like a person with whom you're bedding? Those things aren't the same. Using Sternberg still, a second corner of that triangle for love is just passion. That's where all your sexual desires are stored in this love triangle, romantic type love triangle. And the challenge is, like I said on Love Lounge After Dark the other day, a lot of women mistake their hearts for their heart-shaped boxes. And before they know their bedmate's mother's maiden name, they're having a tryst. They're tussling the sheets with someone because they met at a bar or they met at I don't know, because as you become an adult, you just start going to places less. And when you meet, it's like the whole getting to know you process is fast forwarded over dancing and grinding on one another, on having alcohol and lowering your inhibitions and just kind of feeling free and going with the moment. Yeah, fuck yeah. Whatever that might look like, going to music festivals, getting high on whatever the fuck they decide to get high on, and tongue kissing down a stranger and then, sticking it to them later that night or accepting a stick from them later that night. These things, bro, I don't know, man. They're all options for you. But having just that passion has no implications on intimacy. Having that passion has no implications for intimacy. And a relationship as Sternberg, why do I keep doing that to this man? Sternberg's triangle, there's a third piece, 3 corners of a triangle, right? We've talked about intimacy. That's one of the cornerstones for love, says Robert Sternberg. Passion, all of the, romping around and things like that. That's a second corner. The third corner is commitment. And like one of my boys said, all of my relationships start with sex. And then that's where it is, and that's where it ends. The commitment piece is the one we skip out on. It's why we have more babies' moms than wives and babies' dads than husbands. We don't see the need to commit to the people that we lay with widely. This is not a black thing. This is not a heterosexual thing. This is a all over the freaking world thing. All right? People are having more, sexual liberation. And with that freedom, I tell my folks all the time, my loves all the time, The beautiful part about life is we are free to choose whatever we desire in this life. You are free to choose whatever you want to do, think, whatever in this life. What you don't have the privilege of choosing is your consequences for what happens to you behind what you end up deciding to do with your life. So, free love, dope and amazing. Getting to not have someone tell you what you can do with your body, dope and amazing. But the reason a lot of relationships don't seem to work is because I can't make you love me if you don't, right? You can't make your heart feel something it won't. You can play house, but playing house isn't building a home, right? This takes us to look at ourselves really deeply. This takes us to have an honest conversation with the person in the mirror and say, okay, what are we looking to do? I didn't love a lot of the things that I've done in my past when it comes to relationships. So if I want to see something different, I got to start doing something different. What that different thing is, up to you. Up to you. However, I thought it would be really important for you all to learn why people lose their virginities. And when they lose their virginities, if the reason I lose my virginity is because it was an experiment, and the reason you're giving me your virginity is because you're trying to prove your worth and that you love me, that's a mismatch out the gate. If a woman spends all of her time getting to know the guy that she thinks she's in love with, or she could very well be in love with, she becomes an expert on this gentleman. And while he's growing up, maybe late teens, young 20s, while he's growing up, his focus is on how is he a provider? What does he do for money? What does he make himself out of as a living? What does he profess that he is out of his mouth? Is he a carpenter type of dude, or is he a accountant type of dude? Is he a surgeon, or is he a content creator? What is this guy, right? He's figuring life out. And he is protecting that process because what he is allegiant to is himself. He is figuring him out. Well, guess what? All while you all are sexing and she's thinking that she's proving herself to him by focusing on him. And he is proving who he is becoming in society by focusing on him. Hold up. What just happened? She's focusing on him. And he's focusing on him. Reel it back, ladies. Who's focusing on you? Oh, you guys keep having that sex, you're going to have a child. That child is going to focus on you. And guess what you're going to focus on? The child. Ladies, when do you take the time? When do we, I'm speaking my own story, save the children. I'm speaking my own story. So please don't feel like I'm trying to pull anybody's hoe card. Because if you a hoe, I'm a hoe. You understand? I am giving the real, right? Out of all this time, helping each other. Well, ladies, we're helping gentlemen out. So we think by we're focused on these guys. These gentlemen are learning their ways and they're stuck in their own heads and their own process. Who is learning you, mama? Who is focusing on you? When do you focus on you? When you go to school? When you earn degrees? When you build your company? Black women, biggest set of new entrepreneurs in recent years. Black women, new model minority. Studies show that educated Black women outperform every demographic, including Asian males and females. I only bring that up because previously folks in the Asian community were called the model minorities. So that's why the article that I am referring to calls Black women the new model minority. Michelle Obama talks in her book about being a professional box checker. Ladies, are we out here, especially black ladies, especially educated black women who unfortunately make up the largest piece of the most divorced demographic in America? And America has the highest divorce rates in the world. So it can be said that the educated at the bachelor's level or higher black woman is the most divorced person on earth. Where are we learning us? When are we checking in with ourselves? How are we checking in with ourselves? And if this sounds like you and you're not a black woman, then if the shoe fits, buy a matching purse. You're in here with us too. How are you showing up for you and understanding you so that as you're loving on the folks in your lives, you don't get swept under the current in life, under the tsunamis in life, and lose your way? You find no time to get to the gym. You find no time to meal prep. You find no time to make yourself look like you feel wonderful. Whatever that looks like for you. It might be putting on makeup. It might be putting on earrings. It might be just being with yourself, meditating, going on a hike. It might just be spending time quietly alone. Sometimes we don't know what that looks like. Okay? And gents, without spending enough time with yourself, if you don't seek out therapy, you make serial fucking your therapy. You try to fuck your problems away. Lady by lady or gentleman by gentleman, however you identify, whatever your preference. Doesn't matter at this point. Certain things that you don't find in yourself, you take out on everyone around you. You're not as sexually attracted to everybody as you think. You're distracting yourself from learning you. It's just a distraction. You at peace don't look like that, trust me. You do not. I wish you knew. You understand? So I'm giving you that because I want ladies to know all you beautiful women don't have to be on some real ass bitch give a fuck about a nigga thinking that a Birkin bag is going to fix a broken heart. It never does. It never will. That's never it. And gentlemen, every woman you encounter is not meant to be your therapist, your maid, or your mother. This is where the new tier of love culture, the new feature to love culture, love conversations and conversationships is going to come into play. If you're interested in that, let me know. It's where I'm going to start pairing subscribed loves that are subscribed to love culture. I'm going to start pairing you all off so that you learn how to build relationship conversationally, not just with people from different sexes, not on some match.com stuff, but just on some seeing a human in front of you stuff. Sometimes it takes you looking at someone fully and recognizing them in their fullness before you look in the mirror and do it to yourself. It takes two to know one. That's what one of my therapist instructors used to say. So that was a very meaty raise em up. So that was giving you all gems from Wyann Vaughn's perspective. We covered why gentlemen lose their virginities, why ladies lose their virginities, what sex ends up playing on the relational world of intimacy, and then Robert Sternberg's love triangle. Just so you know, if you have intimacy alone, that just means you're attracted to someone or you like them. If you have commitment alone, that's called empty love. You're only committed. There's nothing there keeping you excited. If you have passion alone, that's called infatuation. You don't technically love a person if you only have one of the corners. I'll be honest with you. If you have two of the corners, if you have any side of the triangle, commitment plus passion is like, you know, a homie, lover, friend. Like you just, it's your fuck buddy. You go, or the cuddy buddy. You keep going back to him. If you have your passion with like, that's romantic love, but you ain't taking them home to mom because while they're great and you like them and they're adventurous and they're fun, they also don't got a car. They ain't had a job in 14 years. And, it's just that the love is so good. You just can't leave them alone. You know what I'm saying? If you only have intimacy and commitment, you have companionship because you have a union that lacks the passion. All right. It's not until you have all three, intimacy, commitment, and passion, that you get consummate love. It consumes all three of the corners. Consummate love. Religious people might call it agape love. It's the all encompassing love. And yeah, that's what we're looking for in this life. I want to walk us right along to a high Y. In this high Y, we are talking to J King 954 for life. We just met in a Love Lounge After Dark a few nights ago, by the time you all will be hearing this. And the gentleman asked, how can I be real with a woman? And I thought that was a dope question. How can I be real with a woman? I want to focus on the word be and the word real. To be is to exist. It's like saying I am. It's the most powerful statement, most powerful sentence in all of language. I am. It's I equals. With nothing on the other side of that equal sign, with nothing on the other side of the word am, you're making a declaration. I exist. I am present. I am here. I am. And if you don't know how powerful it is, God in the Bible, when asked, yo, who are you? He presents himself as I am the I am. Period, point blank. So it's that big of a statement. Only 2 words, but it's that big of a statement. So when someone says, how can I be real with a woman? The first thing is you gotta be. Some of us are humans doing, not humans being. And because we're so used to do, it's challenging to be present or be real if you just have a problem being. That's my perspective, right? A second word I want to focus on in this question is, how can I be real with a woman? When I hear real, I think of the word authentic. So how do I be authentic with a woman? Authenticity only comes through vulnerability. It comes from being you wherever you are and being okay with whatever that means, however that looks, wherever you are. I have a person in my world who dates really some really, really affluent people. And then at the other side of their lives, they date some really scumbag people, if I can be honest. And what they noticed is whenever they have the affluent, good-hearted folks that they're dating, they always want to keep that person on the friendly side of things. But when the scummy person comes along, usually with very good sex life with the individual, that's the individual that they try to put the commitment side of love with. The issue is, this is one person, but when they're in front of a certain type of individual, they present one way. When they go on the other side of life where, it's a little more hood, it's a little different on that side of life, they present a different way. The question becomes, which one are you? Who are you? Are you the person that has meetings with your mate at Spaghettini's or goes out to Beverly Hills and Bel Air? I'm an LA girl, so I'm only going to use LA references. Are you going to Malibu and Newport Beach and Laguna to have little staycays and speaking eloquently and hanging with expensive folks with high vibrations? Is that you, or are you kicking it in South LA, South Central LA? Are you going more towards Buena Hills and Buena Parks or San Fernando Valley and hanging at burger spots and deciding? I mean, like, those are so different. The question is, what side of you is more true to you? Here's the cold game. What if you're neither of those and you're somewhere in the middle? It's like a slider, right? You might be somewhere mixed in between those two things, but so long as your life stays polarized, ain't no telling. Ain't no telling. So, how can I be real with a woman? First, you have to learn how to exist at peace with yourself. And what that can look like is spending time with you, not because you're grooming yourself, primping yourself to go somewhere, spending real time with you, affirming yourself, reading, learning about yourself, learning about the self, whatever it looks like. Authenticity comes from recognizing more of you than you currently know. Personally, I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist. I like to journal. I journal daily. And in journaling daily, I call it writing out. And writing out, I learn a little bit of myself each day. And some days my write out don't be nothing but, so I'm committed to writing to myself today. Because that's just what I do. The coffee is good. The sky is blue. Whatever it is, I am committed to writing out a full page of notes to just me in my journal. Random part is, second to the last line, I may say something so off the cuff that I was like, whoa, I want to explore that. What was that piece of me? The next 3 pages get filled up. But if I'd never put the pen to pad to begin with, I wouldn't have even learned. So being real is being authentic. Being authentic is learning more of yourself. You learn yourself by spending time with yourself. And if you need help with that, we have a thing called Love Tuesdays. We do it at 6 p.m. on the West Coast. Some would call the best coast. On IG Live on my Wyana page, WYANNA. If you ever get confused, hit Raise It Up Y on any social media platform, RAISE. Wait, yeah, RAISEITUPWY. Rockets up on these hoes. Do that and you'll have some good times right there. Last thing I want to get into is the YN's words of wisdom. I brought up a topic talking to TJ on the Patreon episode. We spoke about our relationship in a little more, I don't know. We were a little more candid. We exposed a little more of ourselves than we usually do publicly. And as a result, he spoke of a lesson that we learned. I call it side by side. Side by Side is important because that's also a song my dad and mom wrote for Earth, Wind, and Fire with Maurice White. And it's a song that I really like. So Side by Side. The side by side theory says this. As a couple, you want to always look at the world, look at your challenges as if you're sitting on a table, at a table, side by side. The challenge is when some couples find issues not with the world sitting next to their partner side by side, but their partner is on the other side of that table. And whenever they find issue with anything they're going through, the person they see is their person. It's their partner. Mind you, I might be talking about, I don't like when, certain people don't know how to love me. You know what? I've been betrayed. You know what? I have abandonment issues. Okay, so how that can look at a table physically, your partner and you sit on one side of a table, literally on the other side of that table. If you want to ever do a role-playing exercise in therapy, we sometimes do things like this with couples. Set a placard down, and on the placard it says abandonment issues. Boom. Let's talk to it. Let us talk to those abandonment issues. We are going to be committed as a couple looking at your abandonment issues. Until a person does that with you, your abandonment issues are yours to take up. They are yours to deal with. They are yours to reconcile. Your issues are not your partner's responsibility. Your partner has a responsibility to you, but not for you. You are placed on this earth to live your life fully, wholly, beautifully, and then find a person doing the same shit and walk side by side with that individual on this life journey. It's a pretty short YN's words of wisdom, but I just thought I would give it to you all. And once again, this entire episode is just affirming that vibration of love, helping you understand what love worked practically looks like. Love isn't just a cute word that we say, goals, relationship goals, and shit like that. Like, love is a whole little process, but the process starts at home, and it starts with the person in the mirror. You are not your partner's responsibility. You are your responsibility. That's one. A second piece of all this is nobody in this world owes you shit. Even your mama and your daddy was just two humans doing their best. Or maybe not doing their best. I don't know. But that's their hangups, not yours. What you do in this life is your responsibility. And a part of growing up is owning your shit. And we're going to get to that on this whole year. I hope y'all ready. Because we are fine-tuning vibrations. And sometimes fine-tuning means that I have to pull this side and push that side, and it might get a little uncomfy, but we gonna get in the center of that note. We're not gonna be sharp and a little high over the note, and we're not gonna be flat and a little under the note. We're going to be in the center, dead ass and dead on a note. So if you want that vibration of love, baby, we fine-tuned it, and we did it this episode. But before I go, oh, I hope you didn't see my fingers. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Pay Your Dues section. I know I have a lot of new love, so maybe you guys don't know, but the Pay Your Dues section is a song that my brother taught me when I was a kid, and so he also introduced me to hip hop. So when I do Pay Your Dues, it's my way of bringing my brother's energy into the podcast. He's in heaven right now, and while he's not here physically, he's always here with us spiritually. We're talking about vibes, so I wanted to include his vibration with us this year. Number one is first and foremost, two beautiful women. One, my cousin Maya Smith, CEO and founder of The Do. Her Do boom boxes are still available in Target, and certain and select JC Penney's are carrying the full line of The Do. To learn more about The Do, visit TheDoux.com, thedo.com. Sally's Beauty, Target, Amazon, Walmart. I don't believe CVS, no. I haven't seen not that. I'm missing somebody. Oh, and the JCPenney's, because they carry the full line of select JCPenney's carry my cousin's full line. Also hit her on Instagram at I Love the Do. ILOVETHEDOUX. That once again is my cousin Maya Smith. And also shouts out to my hair lady who I finally got to go see. Hello. At Hair by Quista, HAIRBY. QUISTA. You understand? QT out here in these streets. I got these curls for the girls over here because I've been working out, man. So I want to keep working out and sweating, but you know, black girl problems. You want to work out, you're going to sweat, and that doesn't make sense to get like these pretty bone straight hairstyles and then you go work out and get done looking like Shaka Khan and Diana Ross had you. I'm gonna say another shout out to my love at I am TJ Wilkins for coming through over here and getting good with us on this episode on Patreon, and as well having another great conversation with us that we're gonna take an excerpt of that will come at the end of this episode. So stay tuned even after the pay your dues. And I just want to say, make sure you have his album. If you don't, Feature Presentation is the name of the album. It's everywhere you can get music. Been in It a Minute is my album. It is everywhere you can get music. Both of our names are so weird. You should probably be able to find us. T.J. Wilkins for him. Yan Von, WYANNVAUGHN.com is where you can find my album, any platform and things like that. Thank you, loves. Thank you, love culture. You're my last and final. Pay your dues. I gotta pay my dues and pay my respects to my love patrons, general supporters, as well as loves. I appreciate y'all for the continued support. I want to shout out my love culture faithful badge supporters when we do Love Tuesdays and Love Lounge After Dark. I really appreciate you guys as well, because part of how I get to keep doing this raising up and creating dope content for everybody to enjoy and grow from is because you all show your love in the ways that you do. So I appreciate you all. Please make sure if you need to contact us or get in a high why question in, if you want to be a part of any of the lives that we do, make sure that you hit us at Raise It Up Y, RAISEITUPWY on all social media platforms. And that's one of the greatest ways that you'll be able to stay connected with us. New merch coming in spring. Ladies and gentlemen, in about 6 weeks, you will be looking at a 40-year-old. Yellow? Yellow. Oh, okay. So we're going to be seeing what we're going to do, because I don't even know. The funniest part is, for my birthday, for 30 Fine, I wore this exact dress, and I didn't do that on purpose. Oh my gosh. 30 Fine has been good to me. I'll talk about it in the next episode. Tell you guys what I learned from this year and all the good stuff as we get ready for the next year. But guys, well, really, loves, thank you all for all that you've done this year, last year, the year before. And I look forward to spending more time with you on our love culture times to get together as well. Make sure you stay tuned. In just a second, you'll hear the Get Raised portion with TJ, where the ego meets love. Stay locked in with us. We're going to keep doing this for you. And as always, stay real, y'all. Oh, wait, I can do that. Cool, like that.
Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. West side, raise it up. Raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up.
a Get Raised.
Okay.
For episode 41. And I want to ask you, for all the lovers out there looking forward to enjoying a relationship that lasts and feels fulfilling, how would you describe working with the ego and where the ego kind of sits with love in order to enjoy the relationship of their dreams?
You gotta check the ego.
Speaking from a man's perspective, I want you to speak to the men.
So, fellas, listen to me. You have to check your ego, and that's not to say, I'll say it this way: you have to learn to submit, but not submit to your woman. You have to learn how to submit to the relationship, the greater good of the relationship. That takes a great deal of humility, because a lot of men feel like, oh, it's my way or the highway. And a lot of motherfuckers end up alone, or they end up, with a person that's not the best fit for them because they didn't learn how to be humble in situations. And that's important. My trainer told me that. He said, he's like, in a relationship, there has to be respect. Like, everybody has to come in humble, and the ego is working with the ego as a motherfucker, because we need it. Like, the ego is the thing that gives us that confidence, to even go get that woman.
True.
You know what I'm saying? To make the first move. But if you don't keep it in its place, the same way you got the woman, is the same way you could lose her, by not keeping your ego in check, and learning when to be humble. You know what I'm saying? So it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of checking in.
Checking in with who?
With yourself. Yeah, you have to check in with yourself, because when your ego's taking over, because the ego will tell you to do shit like, oh, nigga, you can go fuck that bitch. You can go seriously, or you can go get her number. You could be a motherfucker that got caught on TikTok giving a woman his phone number. Right? You know what I'm saying? You almost supposed to be on vacation, and then next thing you know, you got a woman looking for you because she done fell in love. Like,
that's
and you knew, that really happened. And you know what I'm saying? That, like, you knew that you probably shouldn't have been doing that, having that kind of conversation, because you got a wife at home. But your ego, for whatever reason, I'll be honest, because we like to feel desired too, This woman objectifies the shit out of me.
Yes.
She says stuff, I'll be walking, she'll be like, baby, you thick, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I do.
And I'll be honest, I like that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because in the same way, like that dude told me, he said, if you don't tell your man he fine and he's strong and, all the shit that men we like to hear, trust me, another woman is more than willing to do that and then some. So, for men, recognizing, like, you just have to, like, you have to be humble. You have to really work on your ego and know when it's time to let the ego kind of do what it's designed to do. And then, when you have to kind of keep it in its place. And that shit is every day. It doesn't stop. Like, it's an everyday thing, so.
It's a day by day and moment by moment, decision by decision thing. Some of the thirst trap type of posts that, one of my red flags, if for the ladies out there, and I'll answer the question as well, where my ego set in with loving this one right here. Let me tell you, one of the biggest red flags for me is going on a fine nigga page. Like, imagine there's no TJ. And, you know, I'm looking and, you know, you done seen somebody, you know, when somebody want to be noticed, they done like 17.
Oh, yeah.
17 your fucking face. They don't comment once. Don't give me no insight, but they done went all the way down my shit. So I'll be like, okay, if the Abby is cute, you'd be like, let's just see. You go to the dude's page and every post is a selfie. It's like, oh, you think you cute. Okay. So
light skinned nigga.
Look, the person I'm thinking of is very, very dark skinned.
Oh, I know.
Very attractive too. Very, very attractive and dark skin. And but he is fine. He is a fine man, you know, and when you look at that, it's like, oh, okay, but the selfie world to me says it's a difference between knowing you fine and showing signs of being vain. Yeah. Vanity, you know? And it's like that is for YN, that's a feminine trait. To me, it's a feminine trait to take 68 selfies on your only having 100 post, right, you know, wall sort of a thing. And you're like, oh, you a bad bitch too? You a bad bitch? Okay. You bad. You understand? Yeah. Like, it's just, and mind you, this could be nothing. I could be overreacting, but again, this is a YN thing. And where my ego set in, and I had to learn how to hone in and harness it to be with TJ the way that we are today, is recognizing in this relationship that if I wanted something different from my past and previous relationships, I had to actually do something different. So in times past, when a gentleman decided to maybe step out, not necessarily that they were having sex with another woman, but you know, you see flirtation in a text or in actual real life, or you notice. I've had a couple niggas send me texts that weren't meant for me. It was meant for another girl that they had just been texting with. I told you about that one.
Oh yeah.
Nigga, no. How are you? Why is she gonna be all right? She an old battle axe. I need to learn I need to see how you feeling, girl. That same situation. I said, wrong bitch. That was my text back, right?
Oh.
And it was like, oh, no, don't worry about, no, I didn't mean to. I said, bro, you said my name as if you didn't text my name. You texted me. No, just come over tonight. We'll deal with it. I'd be like, oh, okay, no, I'll be over there this weekend. Maybe not tonight, though. This was my dude at the time. Because I was another nigga's bitch that night. Yellow, green, and orange. Let's talk about it if we're gonna do it. But anyways, so sex is a weapon. So when I shoot, meet your death in less than 8 seconds. But in my world, in my veil, sex was a weapon. So when a dude thought he was cute, I got hella fly. You want to act like you gone? I'm the fuck out. You understand? Now, mind you, the story I'm telling you is YN of 2004. So we're talking about a 22-year-old YN. I'm dealing with this dude. I'm 38. I'm 36. We've been rocking for a minute, so I've been a few ages, right? So if I feel triggered at 36 and copy, paste the same coping mechanisms from when I was 22, I'm the idiot, not TJ. I'm the idiot. So having a bunch of humble pie that come for YN in the form of journaling every morning and having God talks and God talking with me like, okay, so remember when I said lean not to your own understanding? This is one of those times. Yeah. I'm like, but Lord, you think that he gonna be making a fool out of me? You got me all the way fucked up. This is how I talk to God. But
as you should.
Listen, he's my homeboy and my mentor and my daddy. So I love that man. And celestial being, man. But when I'm talking with him and he's giving me game, that game is always going to be what TJ said, something that's going to benefit the total package, the union of us, and not just YN. Because all of that cheating on a nigga, cheating back on a nigga, that makes YN feel good. And when I make YN feel good, I disrespect 2/3 of the relationship. Every relationship is 3/3. Me, you, and us. So when I'm making sure that YN feels good, I'm not making sure that TJ feels good, and I'm definitely not making sure that the union of YN and TJ feels good. So I wanted to throw that out there. I'm going to steal this piece. I can leave it here with y'all too, but I'm going to steal this piece and insert it into the episode 41 so that we can have a little bit of this guy while we got him. So yeah, that Get Raised was a good one where TJ got to give you guys some ego with love, gentleman, advice. And I got to, just not even advice, just his experience. And I got to give you my experience with where my ego may have, if I had chosen to listen to it, it may have made it to where we never had this sit down. And you were never on the pod. You know what I'm saying? Right. On the first Patreon episode. So, we're going to let this dude get out of here. Like I said, this whole last part, we're going to keep it in here, but I'm also steal it and put it on the regular podcast too. So if you guys liked it, how we did it freestyle, just a little open type of situation, let me know. Comment. Tell a friend if they have dope vibes only. Tell a friend about what you're seeing here on the Patreon content, and we'll be giving you more of this as well. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And that's going to wrap the Patreon, the first Patreon episode. Hey. Boom, boom, boom. No, I'm not switching. No, but
yeah.